In this video, I'm going to show you how to build the only chatbot that you need to create for an e-commerce business and onboard your first clients in your AI automation agency. And for this chatbot, we are going to be using Airtable as a database, Make to synchronize the orders from Shopify into Airtable, and most importantly, Voiceflow, where we will create the chatbot and will be synchronized with our database. In this case, the chatbot that I have built can be sold from $2 to $3K and can help e-commerce businesses to increase their sales because of offering dynamic recommendations, automate and streamline the customer support, and also to help customers to track their status of their orders and request changes if needed. The first thing that we need to do is create an account in Airtable. The process is super easy and you just need to sign up and then follow the steps in order to create a database. Okay, and now we should go to Make and create an account in order to set up a scenario where we're going to synchronize the orders coming from Shopify into Airtable, okay? So for this, the first application that we need to look at is Shopify. And then we need to look for the module Watch Orders. That is going to say basically and with this, we're going to say to Make, hey, watch all the orders that are coming from Shopify and just let me know. And then we will do further steps, okay? So here we should click on Add, okay? Connection type, Shopify. And then for example connection, and here you should write like your shopify.com domain, okay? Example domain without the myshopify.com, okay? I'm not going to do it because I did it already, but I will use mine that is here, okay? So here we select any, because basically at the beginning we're going to pull all the orders that we have in Shopify into Airtable. And then for example, limit, as we have approximately 50 orders, we are going to set up like 100, okay? So we click on OK. And then as this is a test and I want to show like a specific order because we have like a data of customers there, we're going to choose manually and we're going to select this one, okay? And you have to make sure that you set up your own filters because that is what is going to filter what orders do we send to Airtable or not. Now that this is created, we're going to connect it with another module that in this case is going to be Airtable, okay? And what we're going to do in Airtable is basically go and create a record. Create record, and then here again, we're going to add a connection type, okay? Airtable token or key, and then example Airtable connection, okay? Personal access token, and then we should write here the personal access token, okay? How to access to the personal access token, okay? It's very easy. Let's see if we can. Okay, here. So we are in Airtable, and we should go to account, developer hub, and here we should create a new token, okay? Example token, and here we should select all the scoops, all of them, and then add a base that in this case is like the database that we are going to sync with, that in this case is 16RD, okay? I'm not going to do it because I did it already, but that's basically the process, okay? So we should copy paste the personal access token here, but as I did it already, I'm going to close this and I'm going to select the base that is 16RD. I'm going to select the table that is 16RD Shopify orders. And then now we're going to map all the fields that come from Shopify into all the columns that we have in our table, okay? One thing that we should do is create the columns that we are going to need to use in our table, okay? So order number. Here, customer email, we're going to write here, email, customer email, tracking number, we're going to write tracking number, and tracking URL, it's over here already. Okay, and this one we're going to leave it empty because basically this is the field that customers are going to use in order to send us further information, okay? So if they want to make a request, all the changes are going to show here. You're going to see it. So now the connection is set up, and in order to check if this works or not, we are going to run it once, okay? So run it once, success, and as you see here, we are going to go to the database. As you see here, we pulled this order that is the 1043 test email at gmail.com, test tracking, and then the tracking URL, and then this one that I'm going to cover, okay? This, I'm not sure why this happened, actually, but I'm going to cover this one. Okay, so as you see, now we are in Voiceflow, and this is basically all the logic that is behind this chatbot, okay? This e-commerce chatbot. This is a lot, and I'm going to be showing the key aspects that you need to know in order to create like a chatbot just like this, or even better, okay? So first of all, like we're going to see it like working, because I believe that it's better in order to understand what chatbot actually does, because it has like some dynamic recommendations here, like some customer support here, but it's better if we see it in action, okay? So we start the chatbot. Hey, how can I help you? I want to buy something, for example. What do you want to buy? Okay, I want to buy a bestseller. And then the chatbot is going to show dynamically like some products that are the best sellers, or maybe not the best sellers, but they're going to be like some products that with them we're going to be able to categorize what the customer actually wants. Because for example, we see that this is a silver necklace, golden necklace, silver chain, okay? So here we click on more similar products, and remember that this was a silver necklace. So now we're going to be showing more silver necklaces, okay? And this is very relevant because if the customer was interested at first in seeing silver necklaces, automatically, once they click on more similar products and we show to them more similar products to the silver necklaces, this is going to be more relevant for them, and the chances of them purchasing are going to be higher, okay? So for example, we like this one. And if we like this one, obviously like the chatbot is going to be integrated here, okay? So don't worry for that. But if we like this one, we're going to go to the product page, and automatically this is going to be one step closer to close the sale, okay? But what happens if we want to see like some random products? Here in more random products, we can actually set up like the top seller number 1, top seller number 2, and top seller number 3. The products that have the higher chances of converting the visitors into customers, okay? So obviously like we can see more random products, or we can go to any of the products, but yeah, this is more of the same. So I'm going to show like a different thing, and then we are going to see how to create the dynamic recommendations and how to create the customer support thing, okay? So the most interesting path that we are going to do here is basically the changes in order path, okay? So for example, let's do it from the beginning. What happens here? Okay, I want to do some changes in my order. Then please write the email, and the email that we did before was testemail@gmail.com. Now we send an API call to Airtable, and basically we match the test email, like the mail of the customer, with the order number, okay? So we confirm here that it's the same order number, and then we ask for the change that we want to make, okay? So as you see, this field is empty right now. This field is empty, but when we write here the change, for example, yes, 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 this field is going to be automatically updated. And the beauty of this is that, for example, if we want to set up like further automations, like in order to make this reach the relevant team in customer support, we can actually do it. We just have to set up like some trigger that is like changes in order, or we just have to do some other automation inside the Airtable, and it's very easy. And we can actually like decrease the friction in the customer support process, okay? Now that we've seen like a quick overview about how the chatbot works, we're going to show how to create the purchase recommendations and the dynamic recommendations, okay? So I'm going to copy paste this, okay? And as you see here, this is made out of a text block, like this one, for example. I'm going to delete this, but this is basically the same. And this is also made out of a carousel block, okay? Then in this case, we need to add like 3 different cards, but we can add 5, we can add 4, we can add 6, you can add indeed like as many as you want. But just keep in mind that this is exponential. So if you have 3 levels of 3 cards, it's 27 cards. And if you have 4 levels of 3 cards, that's 81 cards. So just be aware of that, because when creating them, it can be like a headache, okay? So as you see here, now we have like card 1, card 2, card 2, okay? Card 3, sorry. So let's create the first one. Let's go with the title, pathless necklace. Then the description is basically the price. And then the next one is angel wings necklace. Angel wings necklace. And the description is basically the price again, okay? So as you see, this works like this basically, okay? But the most important thing is that in every card of the carousel, we need to add 3 buttons, okay? The first one is take me to this one that is going to lead to the product, and we need to add like two actions. That first one is going to be like open URL, that we're going to show it there. And then we're going to go to another blog that is going to be the blog that activates whenever a customer whenever a customer clicks on a product, okay? So we're not going to do it now yet, but we will do it later. Then we need to add a second button, okay, that is going to be more similar products. And this button is going to take to a blog, and the blog is going to be one of the ones that we have here, but we are going to fill this later, okay? So then we are going to add like a last button that is going to be basically see random products, and this is going to basically bring us to see like random products, okay? So we're going to fill all these things later on, okay? Now, how we fill the image? Okay, so we are doing like the angel wings. We have to copy the link here and basically upload the link here. And as you see, this is going to be automatically updated. So now then we have to copy paste the URL, but you should go to your website and copy the URL that you actually want. Paste it here and then go to the blog and then include the name of the blog that you actually want. Okay, the name of the blog you can find it at the top of it, and you can basically add it here. Okay, so you write the name, then you go here, welcome, and you click here. Okay, and then more similar. No, actually, indeed, this is wrong. Okay, sorry, because what happens when a person clicks on a product, we don't want the same behavior. Okay, we want a different behavior, and this is a blog that I actually created. So, for example, where is So for example, this is the other blog that I created. As you see, is clicked on product, okay? And what happens is that whenever they click on a product, we say, I love this one. Let me know if you need something else. And if they need something else, we are going to offer an utterance here, a capture reply that basically is going to listen if they want to know something else, okay? So if they click on take me to this one because they actually want to buy this one, what we're going to do is bring them to this blog. So we continue the conversation naturally, okay? Click on product. I believe this one because there was two, okay? But then if we click on more similar products, we just copy paste the name of the blog and we do it like this, okay? And if we click on more random products, then we go to random products that in my case are over here. We copy paste random one in this case because the random are always like one after the other. It's not like dynamic, at least in my case. And we click on random one, okay? So now, as you see, we have this block that basically is connected. Let's play around with it. So this one, we have like this is the. I'm going to delete these ones actually. Delete, and then I'm going to delete the first one as well, and also the last one. Okay. So now we are going to see what happens here. So now this is only one card because we didn't fill the other 2 or 3 or 4 or as many as we wanted to fill. But as we are going to see, more similar products, this works perfectly. You know, like this is not completely like adjusted because these are like silver necklaces. But if we want to see like more random products, we can actually see more random products. And if we want to see if we want to go to the product, we can actually go to the product, as you see. So this is basically how to build a product, a chatbot with dynamic recommendations, as you see here. And obviously, like you can go as many levels deep as you want. Obviously, this depends on the size of the e-commerce store, on the amount of the amount of money that the customer actually wants to invest in, like the customer, like the e-commerce store that wants to build a chatbot. And yeah, basically feel free to play around with it, like with the dynamic recommendations, because as I said, it's super useful for the e-commerce stores in order to show their catalog in a more dynamic way, okay? Okay, so now that we learned how to do like the recommendations path, we're going to do the customer support path, okay? And the refund path, changes in order path, and tracking path is like very similar, okay? Because the only difference is that the changes in order path is slightly more complex because apart from a get request, we are also sending a patch request, okay? That is basically sending information to Airtable, okay? So we're going to look to changes in order, and then the other information is going to apply for both of them. So as you see, like the customer support block basically is composed by a capture email step, but basically we can get it from here, capture email, okay? Very important that we write the variable exactly as it is, like user email with the capital letters and non-capital letters. That is very, very important. Then it's also formed by a API block, that in this case is a get block, because we are asking for information from Airtable. Then for a confirmation block, just to see if the order number or whatever it is, the information that we are actually asking for, that the customer is actually asking for, is correct. And then in case that is like that we need like an extra request, like the customer wants to make some change, we need to have like a capture step, another capture step that is a changes in order step, okay? And then a patch step, okay? The patch step is very similar to the get step, but in the patch step, we are not only getting information from Airtable, we are also sending information from Airtable, okay? And this is very important because whenever we have like the information, like whenever we have the customer email, once we have it, we are going to be on the record of that customer, and we're going to be able to send extra information to that record, okay? And that extra information that we're going to be sending is changes in order, that as you know from the previous steps is here, okay? So let's start from the beginning. Here there's like two blocks that basically is like in case the customer wants to complete further steps, okay? So let's start from the beginning, okay? As I said to you, it starts with a capture step, okay? That in this case is going to be a capture user. A capture step that is going to be the user email, okay? It's very important for real that the capitals actually match completely, okay? Because if not, it may not work, okay? So then the next step is a get block, okay? So basically for that, we need to go to dev API, and basically this is a get call because we are asking for information from Airtable, and this is going to be also a get request, okay? So in order to know what is the endpoint URL for this, we need to go to Airtable here, developer hub. Okay, it's not here. I always get confused with this one. So Airtable here, help, API documentation, and then we go to authentication, okay? And then we go to retrieve record, okay? And here we select until the v0/, okay? v0/. And this is the endpoint URL that then we're going to match with the table, with the URL of our table, okay? So we have this thing here, that this is like the get URL, and then we need to include everything after the first slash, after the airtable.com slash, we need to include like the first code, slash, and the second code, okay? So I'm copying it. Okay, then headers, enter parameter key, authorization, and enter value or variable. Here we need to include bearer plus our API key, okay? Our API key, we can actually find it here. I'll go from the beginning. We can actually find it here. We go to our profile, developer hub, API key, we copy paste it, and we include this here, okay? I'm going to include it. Oops, no, actually this is not the right API key, but I'm going to include it. And here then we need to add the parameters, okay? The parameters are really important because this is the way that we are going to be able to filter the information that we send from Voiceflow to Airtable, okay? So here we need to write filter by formula, and again, the capital letters and not capital letters are very, very important. And then write customer email, because customer email, this is the name of the column, by the way. Like if your column is named in other way, for example, client email or whatever, this is the name of the column. So for example, if we go here, we can see that this is customer email, okay? So I just need to copy paste it, put it there, and then include the variable here, okay? The variable here, that is it's glitching. Sometimes it glitches here. Okay, so here we have it. User email. And then we have the comment, okay? And then capture response is the responses that we actually want Airtable to get. So my recommendation is to get all the responses as possible, okay? Because that's going to make easier our life, okay? For future steps. So this is the formula. Response.records brackets 0.fields dot, and here the name of the column, okay? So we copy paste this, capture response, and we would include here like all the name of the columns, okay? So it should be order number, and here the variable, we need to create another variable that is going to be order number. If there is not a variable, you need to create it here, just by, yeah, I just created by calling it this way, but it needs to be order number, because if not, it's going to be wrong. So order number, then we need to add another information that, for example, for us, it's going to be relevant as well, the tracking number. So tracking number, then the variable is going to be called tracking. What is happening here? Then the variable is going to be called tracking number. And then if we want to retrieve like some other information, we can retrieve like, for example, tracking URL. Okay, so tracking URL, and then the variable again. Tracking. Okay, so the variable tracking URL, we don't have it, but we are going to create it now, so you are able to see how this works now. Tracking URL. Okay, so this is here. Tracking URL. Create new variable. No. Tracking URL, and create a new variable. Okay, so now this theoretically is going to work. So we copy paste this and we test this if this works. And in order to see if this works or not, we are going to reply with this block that is going to have basically like all the information. For example, the tracking URL, that the variable that we just created, that it wasn't there before, tracking URL, and we're going to see it, okay? So the email that we were going to use, that we were using before, was 1043, okay? And then the tracking URL, this is an example URL, it actually doesn't exist indeed. But let's take a look. So it's test email@gmail.com. And as you see here, this is the URL that we have here, okay? So this is the way of asking for information from Airtable, like with Voiceflow from Airtable, okay? And then the patch request is actually a bit more tricky, okay? And the reason why the patch request is a bit more tricky is because in the endpoint URL, we only don't need to write like the URL of the table, the database and table that we want to send the information to. We also need to write like the ID that basically is the row that we want to send the information to. Because, for example, if we send the information, but we send the information to here, yes, it doesn't make sense for us because the information is not going to be linked directly with the customer, okay? So we need to send the information to a specific row and a specific column, okay? And for that, we're going to do this. The endpoint URL, basically we can take the same as get, but then we need to add another variable at the end, okay? We need to write like slash and then create a variable that we can create a variable here in NLU model. And in this case, the variable that I created is record ID, okay? But it can be like a variable, yeah, it can be, yeah, it's better that it's record. So record, okay? Just record. As you see here, record ID, I'm going to delete it because I'm not going to use it. But it can be named however you want, okay? So we have to include it at the end of the endpoint URL. We just have to add another variable, okay? And then in headers, we need to write authorization in the first one and bearer plus your API key, like a space, and then content type, application, JSON, okay? Body, and this is very important, you have to write fields and then changes in order, and this needs to match exactly how our column is named. So for example, changes in order. And then this variable needs to be named exactly as our variable. So for example, if I want to change the variable that we are capturing the information here, for example, if instead changes underscore in underscore order, I want to name it changes in order, this is going to work as well because I need to change it here as well. So instead of changes underscore in underscore order, it's going to be changes in order. Okay, so this should work theoretically. And then for the capture response fields, basically response.records 0 fields changes in order. This important, this needs to match with the name of your column, and then response records.id, and then this needs to match with the variable that you are using. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, let's test it here from the beginning. So test email at gmail.com. Okay, it works, so yes. And now we're going to see here. So now the changes in order that we have here is like test, and we are going to clean all these too. And we're going to write, I want ice cream. Okay, so now let's see if this works. So I want ice cream is here. And then last but most importantly, we need to integrate the chatbot into the Shopify store, okay? So for that, we just need to go to integration, copy this text, and then go to the Shopify theme, edit code, theme.liquid, and then go to the bottom of the code, and we just need to substitute and to include this just before the body tag, okay? We would just need to include it here. So it would be something like this. And as you see, I cannot save because it's basically the same as we had before. And we are going to see it working now, 16thpro.com. And as you see here, I moved it a bit up because it was covering some of the stuff in the website. And let's check it out. Hey, how can I help you? I want to buy something. What want you buy? Bestsellers. And as you see, this is completely functional. Okay, I want to see more random products. And now let's do the changes in order. Changes in order. So it was test email at gmail.com. Yes. And now it's going to be like 16th Road Best Jewelry. And we are going to see that this is going to be here. Yeah, this just updated at the same time that we were watching at it. So yeah, guys, this is basically how the chatbot is integrated. And that's all, guys. If you have any questions, just drop a comment. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video, guys.